Hello. I like natural light. I think that's better. Hi everybody. What's going on? It's been a minute since I've gone live. I hope my camera isn't blurry. Sometimes my kid touches it. Or it's my glasses. It might be my glasses. Either or. How's everybody doing? Um, what was the topic of? I had some topics, but I didn't write them down. I just wanted to kind of flow, but I haven't gone live. Well, there's two people there. Hi, two people. I just wanted to kind of flow, but I haven't gone live. Well, there's two people there. Hi, two people. I didn't want to. I just wanted to flow, but I haven't been live in a minute. I had some videos that I was supposed to be shooting these days, but plans got changed, and so I'm kind of free. So I just been hanging out, um, editing here and there, but pretty much got most of my work done, and it's December, so one of my favorite times of year. It's also one of my most nostalgic time. Nostalgic? Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. I might think of another word, but it's my warm and fuzzy time of year. But it's also a time where I start to feel nostalgic. At least like I listen to old movies. I think this week I watched. I don't know. I watched the Five Heartbeats twice. And my kid has to watch them too because it's her part of her cultural education. Watching like, and my kid has to watch them too because it's her part of her cultural education. Watching like classic American films and stuff, and listening to good old soul music and the Christmas album by the Temptations. Although I feel like it's a little early, especially in Senegal. It's December 7th. It's not early in Hey Golden Baobab. Oh, hi. Yeah, it's a little early for here to get in the Christmas spirit because I find that if you start it too early, you'll burn out and it won't last. So you gotta kind of like build into it, but don't overdo it. So we watched like a couple of those Lifetime type movies, and we watched like Home Alone. I'm saving it. I never was into that one. Uh, you poke your eye out. That one I never. I forget what that's called. White Christmas. I don't know what it's called. But I'm definitely like she likes the last holiday with Queen Latifah, so we watch that often. Some movies are not like about Christmas, but it's like that's the time to watch it, like after Thanksgiving, before Christmas and stuff. So we've been doing that. I watched like Harry Met Sally, stuff like that, little stuff. But yeah, I just been chilling. I was supposed to have guests come visit and for this week and last week that fell through, and so I've been kind of like, what do I do? But I said, let me do a live because I haven't done one in a while. Malachi, hi. Malachi Muhammad has been rolling with your girl for a long time. I want to say a year and a half, at least a year. Do you know how long it's been? I remember seeing your profile picture um, before we moved into this house, which was a year ago. But time flies, man. I hope my signal and everything is good for everybody. Let me know. I'm gonna try to see if I can get it on my phone. About a year. I figured it's been a minute. Um, okay, let me see. I'm trying. Okay, let me see. I'm trying. Hopefully it doesn't interfere. I just want to watch and make sure it looks good. It looks clear and stuff. Like my own little video right quick, because I like myself. Um, yeah. Okay, looks doesn't look bad. So yeah, I like natural light. I don't want to turn the light on. It doesn't look as good to me. But yeah, it's been 2 years, and it's the first year it felt like it had little phases. Like 3 months we was living in San Luis, 3 months and some change. Then we moved to Simone, and we was getting acclimated, and then we had a groove where we knew everything, made friends, and started building a community. Then we were built like trying to finish building the house, and then we moved into the house when it was not close to being, comfortable done, and was earlier than it's scheduled or whatever. And then we've been fixing stuff, home improvement, decor, home improvement. I got my AC on right now. Oh my gosh, Zoo and Shayna, you're the real MVP. Wow. So dope. That's so touching. Oh my gosh, thank you. I don't know what I did, but okay. I'm the real MVP. That's so that wow. Wow. You don't know. It's been rough. Um it hasn't been easy. It's been rough, and some rough things I share, most of them I do not. If I do, it's probably on Patreon because some things you just don't want to leave a bad taste in people's mouth, and not everybody can understand it. I think you get to a point where you can only talk so much to people who aren't living this life about certain things. It's a good example. It's like when you're married, um, certain things you do not want to complain to your non-married friends about, because they won't get it, and they might take it the wrong way. So like Black diaspora people, African diaspora people, won't get it. So it's like some stuff I just put it on. And if you don't know, I do have a Patreon. For those who don't know, it's the same under the same name. But that's where I can share more because it's either somebody who's on their way here, like for real, and or you know, for people to see what day to day is like. And that's where the emotional stuff comes out because I tried to do that here, and I think maybe a year ago I had decided like to not do so much sharing on YouTube because there's a specific audience that is for. But it's been an eventful 2 years, and I mean I can't say that my life back in the States would be imagine doing back in my home country in the situation that I was in before. But at the same time, there are challenges that I wouldn't have had before. But at the same time, there are challenges that I wouldn't have had being there either, probably to this degree. Thank you, Patricia Boyd. Thank you for my congratulations. Um, um, Zoo and Shannon said, and accomplish what you all have done. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Sometimes it feels like we're behind schedule, and sometimes I look back and I'm like, we did this, like, because every little thing, if you know Africa at all, every little thing takes individual time. Specific, there's no way around it, and so if you have a system where you come from, where everything is like you can go to the farmers market in the US anywhere, but at the same time, like the system here is such that everything's a farmers market. Like if you need a a, 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 a towel rack, if you need toilet paper holders, if you need, I can't even think of the thing, like curtain rods, like half the stuff or more, you're getting it made. If you're doing it right, you get it made, and that all takes time. If you need a plant, like you go to the plant people. If you need a pot for your plants, you go to a different person. You got to get the pot before you get the plant, and it's like, woo, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. So it takes time. Had I been in my own country, I would have been like, boom, boom, boom. But it's not. It's not possible. And there's, you know, if I could have this life, not even in the States, but just like somewhere else that probably I relate more, or that I feel like the culture is closer to mine. I'm like, would I, But then it's like there's some benefits that you only get here. So it's like, and health wise, and not that everybody's organically living and stuff, but it's just easier to do that, even though it's more accessible, but it's still a challenge. But anyway, Yeah, it's been great for my kid. Sometimes I'm like going back and forth, like, oh, she doesn't know my culture that well, but then she'll surprise me and say something, and I'm like, where did you learn that? And so, she's picking up on a lot of Black colloquial stuff, and I think that's pretty awesome to see because you never know. You move your kids, you don't know who they're gonna become. Um, yes, gotta roll with some punches are to the gut. Like, we've been very blessed and fortunate for the most part, but there have been things that we've been very blessed and fortunate for the most. There was we were watching the World Cup, the after the World Cup, yeah, the World Cup, the Senegal was playing, and I was so mad at Senegal at that day that I could not watch it. I wasn't cheering for them. I was just like, y'all messed up, man. Like, like there's moments like that, and I had to check myself and be like, okay, when I was living in the States and stuff was going wrong, and I was like, you know, it wasn't that bad and it's not that often, but still, sometimes you be feeling like, man, if I was in my country, I wouldn't have to deal with this, which is true. But those are the growing pains. Oh, I'm in Walmart, so not hearing anything. Oh, okay. Malachi said he's in Walmart. I guess. Oh, maybe he just went to Walmart or something. Okay. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to check in and say hi. I really haven't been keeping abreast as with what's been going on back in the States. It's like less and less I've been kind of drifting away from being obsessed and with everything that's going on there, which I think has helped me a lot. But then sometimes I see things, I see posts and I see things and I'm like, oh shoot, like that still goes on. I think uh had a virtual family reunion the other day, and I was surprised that people were still talking about the virus, and I had no idea it was still to that degree where people were still like um, dealing with people getting sick and things like that. I didn't know, so that was surprising to me. That those are the moments where I'm like, dang, you really can tell that you are out of touch with certain things. Oh, Golden Baobab. Thank you so much. That's so nice. It's rewarding but not easy. You've been a class act. Okay. Thank you so much. Nice to see you too. Um, it's best for you. It's just getting worse here. That's what I've been hearing. And and sometimes I tell myself, okay, things can get worse in a country and then get better. Like there's countries where like they had a war 30 years ago and then now it's as if it never happened. And so you think, what if that happens in the States? Like, you kind of you can second guess because that was actually some advice kind of that my father gave me before we left because it's not a solution to that you can look at and say, okay, something bad is happening here. I'm gonna go somewhere else, and nothing bad is gonna happen. Like you can't look at it that way. You have to really look at it as either one, you're like refugee mode, like I can't go back, so I just have to make it happen, or you weigh your pros and cons, and you just have to be educated and stuff, um, and remind and stuff, um, and remind yourself let me see. Somebody was tripping, but in the comments. But yeah, so it's something that you have to always remind yourself and check in with yourself and journal and stuff because it's a lot to deal with. And everybody's situation is different. My situation, I'm married to someone from here. Sometimes I feel like, if I was married to someone from where I was from, then it's like we could join forces together culturally and really make our own little, home and everything be about. Then you can be with the people and you get a break when you come in. But for me, I don't get a break. um like there was a different balance blending of cultures when we lived in my home country naturally. So this is something that, he's able to be more himself and free. So this is something that, he's able to be more himself and free. You're talking too fast. Like I feel like with the walk, man, it's really just not gonna happen. That's what I've decided. Even though it's like a big gap between people who speak it and people who don't, and there's no in the middle people who are like average, basic. It's just like these people and like, yeah, it's just it's pretty difficult. Even though everybody says Wolof is easy, but all the people that say it's easy are people who were born speaking it. But let me see what somebody said in the comments. I just read an article about how American Girl magazine had a piece in there about how to change your gender. Wow. This is a magazine for young girls. Oh my gosh. Now, when it comes to my kid and the things I want her exposed to and the things I would prefer that she not situation. Let me get my water bottle. But if I didn't have a kid, it'd be a different story. But no, for her, and that's one of those things that as a parent you can sacrifice. You can sacrifice yourself for your kids, and so I'll do that over and over and over again. Like, no, there's things that happen. The more I get integrated, like this year versus last year, I would make the comparison. Last year or the first year that we lived here was like a vacation for me. Everything was fun. Everything was new, exciting. Beach every day, making friends, having fun, traveling, seeing different sites. And this year was more grinding, working, you know, starting our company, making our home a home, budgeting, business planning, like everything, finding housekeepers and house staff and making connections and stuff like that, networking. So this year, I've definitely learned a lot of things that that like I don't want to say I had a fantasy about how it was gonna be, but but to some extent, I was unaware of some things. I wasn't oblivious. I knew that there was things that I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like every country in the world has has groups of people that are in better positions than others, people that are oppressed, groups of people that are looked down upon or mistreated or neglected, and so forth and so on. So you have like a lot of countries is the poorer people, or it could be people from a certain tribe, or it could be people, with less education. It could be anything, things like that. It could be women. A lot of cases, it's women. And so, like, there's some things that you cannot escape. And, people will say, oh, certain countries, they don't respect women. Like, I don't think any country does, does to the extent that they should. You know what I mean? Like, everywhere there are humans and everywhere there are vulnerable people. And so, like, you learn about things from people that are from here. Even if they moved abroad and came back, you learn like the real, like people will tell you the real, like, we have the same issues that happen in America, as far as kids being in danger. And sometimes as a foreigner, you want to ignore that. And I could see in the States how immigrants, stay out of certain things. Like it's not my thing. It's not my beef. Like, people don't want to engage because it's like, I'm here for this goal. I don't want to know nothing about no what was that thing that happened in the White House or whatever in January. I like, they don't want to be concerned about no discrimination. Like, they don't want to hear none of that stuff because they here to get away from whatever was going on in their country and make a different future for themselves. So being here, it is easy to have that kind of attitude when things come up. Like, granted, there's some issues that you'll be like, that's not an issue. Like, people can complain or gripe about certain things. You're like, man, you can't even say that that's a problem because, man, where we're from, it's worse. Stuff like that. Especially when it comes to like violence and things like that. Um, But then there's something where you can't just brush it off. You can't just ignore it. Like there are things that are problems everywhere. And so when you learn, like, oh, I moved here, granted, I have been coming to visit here. I never lived here before. So it's like, you kind of jumping in semi blindfolded. But and then you only know the world that you know. So I only knew my husband's world, and that sectors, regions, uh, 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 um, communities and stuff don't have issues that need to be uh, 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 um, communities and stuff don't have issues that need to be resolved. Like some people come and they have the attitude they're gonna save everyone and fix everything. I don't necessarily think that's the way per se until you've been here long enough to really get culturally integrated. Um, but uh, but yeah, you can't just come blindly and assume that everything's gonna be great. Some things will be great. Like um, I found out when I went to the doctor that I had two small fibroids, and I was like, this was a couple of months ago, and I'm like, what? Like I went to the doctor for something else, and they're like, oh, by the way, this fantasy in my head that was like, I go here, I'm not gonna have no health problems, and yes, my blood pressure is way better, but I had to continue taking medication. I thought I was gonna be medication free. I did lose weight. I lost about 25 pounds or something like that, maybe 30. But it hasn't been easy to reach the goal that I want, So it's I'm like, dang, how could I did my doctor's appointments before moving, so I know I didn't have this condition or whatever you want to call it before coming. So it's like I got sick here, like oh my god. So it is you got to check your ego sometimes because you think you know everything and you think like I'm gonna avoid this stuff because the food isn't processed, which yes it is, depending on where you get it from. And I don't like going to the outdoor market. So if my husband doesn't go, I'm going to the grocery store where there's no flies, and I'm going to where there's AC and where I can get everything in one spot. And I just don't buy produce and meats and stuff from there. But some stuff is it makes life easier, even though it's not the best. So it's like it's not easy to like reach all your goals is what I'm saying that you have. So be prepared to be disappointed sometimes. You might be disappointed that your whatever ailment doesn't go away as fast as you thought. You may not lose weight. Some people lose 50 pounds, boom, and some people don't. Hey Malachi, welcome back. You might lose weight real fast and you might not, or you might get develop another medical condition that you didn't expect because you're thinking everything's healthy, I'm good, I'm eating rice every day. Stuff is imported, and so you know just don't make the mistake of, you can have your assumptions, of course, that's natural, but just don't stick to them and be hard-headed and not accept when people tell you there's a problem with kids, whatever, or there's a problem with you know education or anything. Don't just assume that because it's the place you want to move to that everything is better, that it'll be fine, and just brush it off because you're not helping yourself in that regard. Let me says I can go. Let me see. Can go bad and then get better, but the U.S. is amplifying the mental instability. I agree. I agree. I mean, me that I just and it's not like it's everywhere. Oh, am I? Let me check and see if I'm clear. It says I'm reconnecting, but I don't know if it's always true. I think I'm good. But you have to, you can't just look at, okay, the past 10, 20 years. You have to look at history, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years to kind of get an idea of where things are going. And then you also have to make an assessment on, like, you have to know about other countries, how they recover for certain things. And then you also have to make an assessment on, like, you have to know about other countries, how they recover for certain things, and what's the trajectory and all that stuff. So like you look at all this mindful sawa, um, but you look at all those things, and you have to have your pros and cons list. And when you have those days that you didn't get favor, or where you know certain things don't work in the system based on the system that you're used to, or even when you try to do like the African system and stuff, sometimes that don't work either. Like, you have connects, or you slide a little tip, or sometimes that don't work. And so you think you got stuff figured out, and then you feel like you don't. It's just like, what? You know, it's a lot of learning. Like, so I don't know what's going on with the president and this and that and the whatever things that other people I'm here on. So, I'm oblivious to a lot of things, and I have to always remind myself I don't know everything. I just know my little bubble. And I am, in a bubble. And it may not be good to be that way sometimes, but you learn you learn in phases and stages. So, but I'm definitely proud of myself. Um, it's an out of body. It's not an out of body experience, but sometimes it feels surreal. I don't feel like I'm myself. Like if I was watching myself, um, like how you guys may be watching, I may be like, wow, that's so dope. But I don't feel that. When you're in something, you don't really feel like you really did it. Like you still see where you want to go, and you just focus on that, and you see things that aren't done. You see cable wires sticking out, you see things that the paint chipping off, you see those things. Oh, I'm cutting out. That's my lovely internet. I probably let me know if it's still cutting out, then I'll refill it. I should have done that actually. Um, let's see how it's going. Oh, it's like a little slow. Hold on, let me take some stuff off my Wi-Fi, see if that helps. But yeah, so it's been an experience, and I can't believe it's been 2 years. Sometimes I'm like, we did a lot in 2 years, and sometimes I'm like, I still have a lot to do. And so, when you pluck yourself out of your environment where you already had a foundation. I have been in the workforce for, shoot, probably 17 years or 16, yeah, 17 years or something like that. And so you start off, oh, the signal's still bad. Um, Sorry about that, guys. I should have refilled my thing. I have to, what's it call it? If I have to refill it, then I gotta come out and go back in, and let me see if it's still bad. Um, I took my phone off the Wi-Fi to see if that would help, but we shall see. Let me know if you can hear me now, and if it's still choppy. Then I'll just come back and take a 10-minute intermission. Otherwise, I'll keep going. But what was I saying? I forgot. So maybe I should cut out and come back. So let's see how it looks. Okay, it looks like it's back, but I don't know if my voice sounds like it's off. But yeah, it's one of those things where I have so much that I want to do, and you move from somewhere and start over. Like we scraped everything, get rid of your cars, your house, your everything, your job, and like stable career. I didn't love it, but it was there. And then you scrap everything and you just start over. Like, who does that? And so, you know, people might look at it and think it's like some temporary insanity type of thing. But it was really, I guess the pressures of the moment really helped to push us through to get us to this point. And we had no choice but to do it because we did everything. You can come in. So I'm gonna see if Let me see how the sound is. It sounds okay for me over here. Got better, but keep me posted. Nobody put anything in the comments the last few seconds. I don't know how it is on you guys' end, but just let me know. Um, so I think that it's really like I commend myself, I pat myself on the back, but it definitely has not been easy. And it helps to express myself, even though there's certain situations that I can't express, and there's certain, uh, with certain audiences, it's just not a good idea to express certain things, obviously, personal stuff or other people involved, whatever the case may be. But these are things that anything that I can learn from, I try to share in some form or fashion or in some platform. If I can't share it here, I share on Patreon because I really, really want people to be as emotionally prepared, as much as financially prepared, and all the other ways you can prepare. I want people to be as emotionally prepared as possible because I've had to do over the phone therapy sometimes. I've cried some days. I've been frustrated. It's okay, boo. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, you're hungry. Why'd you come all the way up here to tell me that? Aren't there other people in? No. Mm-hmm. No. There's nobody else in the house? Nope. Where's your dad? Oh, your dad went somewhere? Oh yeah, he did. Why is the front door open? The front gate, is it open? So it's definitely, more than what you guys see. And it's not for everybody. Africa is not for everybody. Senegal is not for everybody. When people call me, and I don't want people to just base it on like the Senegal is not for everybody. When people call me, and I don't want people to just base it on like the Instagram posts or the shaking my camera. I don't want people to base, their decisions or make any impulsive type of people to base, their decisions or make any impulsive type of plans, without knowing the real. So if you really are thinking about this, make sure you check out um the Patreon videos, because then they're short videos, like 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, but just like showing the raw, unedited, unfiltered, behind the scenes stuff that and conversations that really can help to prepare you, because it has just been, and I've had my husband, and there's benefits to having contacts of people from here, obviously, because this is a very communal situation. My husband, everybody that does work or everybody that helps us with something, we get their phone number, and because you have to depend on other people. If he was here, yeah, I will figure it out. Like other people that are here that don't have, a spouse from here. Can you stop rolling around in my bed, making my camera shake? Like I was saying earlier in the video, in the live, um, it's some cultural stuff that come with that I have to deal with, or that I have to adjust to. Can you close the front door, please, if your dad's not here? Please do it. You already ate. You're not hungry. You already ate the chicken and rice and stuff. I hope you cleaned up your bowl. Can you please get out of my bed, and I can smell your feet. So it's definitely been a journey. That's what I can say. I'm gardening now. I haven't had any vegetables other than I just have some herbs so far, but I'm waiting on my peppers. I'm trying to grow kale right now. Um, and things that I can actually eat, like those things will make me feel more independent. I remember when we didn't even have a oven for over a year. I think I know how to cook in the oven. It's just been it's step by step getting the food. There are days that I don't eat lunch because I might get tired of eating rice every day, which I love the food, but I realize that I've learned that I'm not the type of person that can eat the same cuisine every day, because I'm used to a variety. And so there are days where I don't eat, and I may not feel like cooking because if I cook for myself and there's all these other people, they might as well eat what they like, and I'll just figure it out, you know. But yeah, this was not. But yeah, this was not meant to be a long video, unless you guys have things you want to talk about. But I don't know if the signal is the best. It sounds like it to me, but when I'm watching it back, signal is. Mr. Coletti says, "Hola chica, hola, ¿cómo estás?" But cutting out at one point. Rob Sneed says, "Hi, Mama, you have been a true motivator for me. Love all your insight about Senegal. Thank you very much. That means a lot. I take a lot of um, pride in what I do. I have a lot of passion in what I do, and the way I was helped by watching other people, I just have to share anything that can help or motivate or inspire or provide insight. You know, so that means a lot. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, I guess if you guys don't have any questions, I'll go. I'm reading this book. That's really um I may have I may have told you guys about it. Two people brought me this book actually. It's the first black person, I believe. It might just be a black woman, but I think it's the first black person to travel the whole world. Um I think it's the first black person. It's the whole world. Um I think it's the first black person. But it for sure is the Laos, Turkey, a whole bunch of places. And it's a really good reading. It's very inspirational. She got photography too. But I just finished reading when she came to Senegal for the first few times, and so it's cool. It's nice. She like travel. She doesn't explores, and so I think that's inspiring. Like travel. She don't just stay in a hotel. She goes around the whole country and explores, and so I think that's inspiring me not to do what she did, but to live my dream, whatever that is. So, you know, if I want to cook, if I want to travel, if I want whatever it is, you just have this one life. So whatever you do, I guess I'll just leave you guys with this. Whatever you want to do, like do it in some form or fashion. You may not be able to do it the way you envision it, but once you start doing it, um, you'll find a way. It's your real passion. Learning about new cultures, and that's what I'm doing, living in another country. And I never thought that would be me. I just didn't think I had it in me. And you know, I know the growing pains are just exactly that. They are growing pains. So you might be uncomfortable. You just have to see what the end goal is. And, you know, part of the end goal is to not have a mortgage. I don't have a mortgage. Part of that is to not pay a water bill. I don't pay a water bill. Not to pay electricity. I don't pay electricity. But on the flip side of that, I have to maintain my solar panels and solar batteries, and I have to get a water pump, and I have to do other things. So nothing comes without responsibility. Which in my mind before, you think we're eliminating these issues, but you're gonna have other issues or challenges or other things that you have to deal with. So you just got to be prepared for that. And if you are passionate enough, you'll get through those tough times. You know, especially if you believe in higher power and you know, for you to continue. But I love you guys. I'm gonna go now because I know what I'm doing for y'all. Merry Christmas, Thanksgiving, all those. You know, I probably will be back. You know, this month to do another live because my kid will be out of school. We just chilling. So I will see you guys in the next video. I think I had a video come out today, I think, or yesterday. So I'm releasing a video every week. I'm like keeping it low maintenance. So I can do other things. Wow, these hornbills are hitting my window. Wow, that was scary. What will happen? We have birds coming in the house all the time, flying, and it gets stuck behind the glass. Anyway, let me go save these birds. They like fighting themselves on the glass. Just wrote something. I bought that there. Oh, okay. So you are telling the truth about the bills, 3 versus lots of bills in the US. Exactly. Exactly. But then you have other things to deal with. Like my friend has been having problems with her internet and people coming out to fix it and such. Like there's other things, there's other challenges that you'll have to figure out, and it can be very frustrating, and you definitely need to have someone who's going through it, even if they're not in the same country as you, 'cause you could be in Uganda, you could be somewhere, but you need to talk to people. Like I hope that we build a the continent and stuff, which is great. People in Ghana or people in Cameroon. I've talked to people in Gambia, of course. People, in Kenya. Like we all have to support each other because we have a support system. This is not like living in I don't know what that's for, where the black people hiring housekeepers, different stuff, and we both had our kids there and stuff. And so it doesn't matter. Like you need that support system, and only people doing what we're doing will understand us to that extent. Just like I was saying before, like when you married, you could talk to a married person and they know, like, if somebody don't put their toothbrush away, how much that could get on somebody's nerve. Little, things like that, little nuances. So you need your family back home can only be there so much. Option, maybe. So yeah, we're gonna keep on doing what we're doing. I'm very blessed. I feel very fortunate that my husband and I, are on the same mission, even though we both like from our Senegalese that live abroad and they're inspired. And whereas I thought I was just making videos for other, Black Americans, then there's people that, find us all kinds of other ways at a store, or I don't even know, but that local people and stuff. So you know um you never know, uh you never know how. So just do what comes naturally to you and what feels good and what you were put on this earth to do, and everything should work itself out. So with that, I love you guys very much, and I'll be back. I might come back next week. I don't know. I'm like real chill this time of year. I decided mentally that I'm on vacation for the whole month, even though I work here and there. But yeah, I decided to just enjoy the downtime and take it myself, which I can. Oh wow, Rosny, thank you. He says you are a true inspiration. That means the world to me. It really does. Oh man, it's hard to believe. I can't see myself as that, but it's just like that's awesome. That's very awesome. I man, thank you, thank you. Get misty, but I love you guys very much. And if you're in town, hit me up, and I'll talk to you, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Don't forget, to those of you who are planning to move somewhere, anywhere, definitely do your research and try to network with as many people as possible so you can get all the experiences and prepare yourself, um, so you can hopefully succeed on this journey. All right. You guys have a blessed one. Yes, you have to have a great vision. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye. Peace out.